Swiatek to begin.
Love. All.
It's quite a heavily strapped shoulder. She's had that in previous rounds too. Says her forehand's a favourite shot. Backhand looked very impressive.
30-15.
Well, managing to get in first at any opportunity here. There's a real keenness to assault the point very quickly from the pole.
Led for service. Game.
Strong player. The 17-year-old looks very impressive opening game. And of course, the Radvanskas, huge stars back home. Wojciech Fibak of old as a male player, was a bit of a trailblazer. And here at Wimbledon too.
Yeah, they've had Kubot in doubles as well, haven't they? Very, very good doubles players. So some great athletes coming out there. Jerzy Janowicz, of course, as well.
To serve. Love 15.
First meeting between these two, and I think already the young British player totally aware of the power. Beautiful touch, she's quick.
15 all.
This is really well handled because she's been under a lot of pressure from the off, so to stabilise the wrist there and make that ball was quite something. The pole is throwing a lot at her from the start here. Very easy to become sort of overwhelmed.
It's like she's come out here to say, I'm the boss. This is quite a statement after just 3 minutes.
Yeah, I concur, Chris, entirely. And there's a big difference between 17 and 15 physically, isn't there? You know, a huge difference in physical maturity. I mean, the pole, 2 years older, has a really heavyweight shot, but Raducanu holding up well here. Terrific forecourt skills.
Late second serve. Forty, 30. Use.
Well, that's the first unforced error of the match. It's been such high level from the off here.
Beaten for pace.
Advantage, Miss Swiatek.
First break point of the match.
Game.
And the
Miss
first break.
Swiatek. Miss Swiatek leads 2 games to love, first set.
Ranked 347 as a pro, this young 17-year-old already on the WTA rankings.
Love 15.
There's James Trotman, English coach, on the left. And how about that, Ian Barclay, former coach of Pat Cash, of course, all those years ago when he was winning Wimbledon. This match is attracting quite a lot of interest. Understandably, the level from the off here, quite outstanding.
All.
Well, certainly the brief from Iga Swiatek, the Pole, is to just rush her young 15-year-old opponent off the court, taking her time and space away as quickly as she can, rendering her rhythmless.
Third, C15.
Often that comes at a price where you sort of bleed a few unforced errors, but not her so far. Pretty intact.
Fourth, C15. Game, Miss Swiatek.
Very strong start continues. It's 3-love.
Miss
8
Swiatek
minutes.
leads 3 games to love, first set.
Another reason why there's a lot of excitement about the British player is a couple of years ago, she won an ITF under-18 event. This is when she was like 13. And literally on the day she turned 13, she won the tournament. She's the youngest ever ITF under-18 winner. And talking to Nigel Sears, who's a consultant at the moment, not for that long, this morning, he said, because he's been following her too for a while, he sees similarities between this young woman and Andy Murray as a young player. Her tennis was ahead of her physical maturity.
Wow, how interesting. That is fascinating, isn't it? Great signs. I mean, what a talent. That's why the court is shrouded in coaches onlooking, just to catch a glimpse and maybe have a little input.
Oh!
15 love. 15 all.
So far outstanding, not just only on serve, where she has yet to drop a point, but return play as well. Smothering any serves that are even slightly short.
30 all.
The amount of winning this very young woman has done already, she'll have a winning mentality. She's not going to take this lying down, this start from her opponent. Just wide.
Raducanu changing the call on the right far sideline. Ball was caught out.
First one for Hawkeye.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because as much winning as she's done, there is nothing like staring down the barrel of, you know, nothing on the scoreboard, and that's where she's at. So she's showing a lot of character here.
Game. Miss Swiatek.
That was a bit of a gift. Very makeable shot.
Miss Swiatek leads 4 games to love. First
4 love
set.
in 12 minutes.
Miss Raducanu has 2 challenges remaining.
And let's not forget that Swiatek has beaten the world #1 junior in the opening round here. She is full of belief and confidence.
Miss Swiatek changing the call on the left service line. Ball was caught out. Second serve. Love 15.
Well, this is something that we tend
Miss
to see
Swiatek
across the
has 2
juniors, Chris,
challenges
over the
remaining.
years, isn't it? We're both experienced former coaches, and you tend to see, from one so young, a slight lapse at some stage. Of course, mental skills generally
18
evolve
off.
slightly later. Well, I always thought coming out blitzing with the intent that she had from the off, she's treading a fine line, and at the moment she's doing a great job, but she's got work to do here at 15:30 on her own serve.
It's a good looking serve. Third ace, 13th of the tournament. They look so relaxed, don't they? Polish Kemp. First break point, a chance to get on the scoreboard.
Use.
Anki Othavong just behind Nigel Sears there, the Fed Cup captain for Team GB, former player of course, pushed Venus Williams hard, particularly in the opening set on a match on centre court years ago here.
Advantage, Miss Swiatek.
Well, you know you're watching a couple of very talented individuals with such clean ball striking, real crack every time they make contact.
Late first service.
Oh!
Use.
Yeah, just a half smile and a little bit of an anxious look back to the support camp. Jane O'Donoghue's been with her for 2 or 3 years or so. Most familiar face of the team around her.
Advantage, Miss Swiatek.
Swiatek is answering all of these tough situations so far really, really admirably.
Pretty long game, this. Match
Use.
17 minutes old. And this game, just under a third of it. Big game. Needs to win a mini battle, Raducanu, soon.
Advantage, Miss Swiatek.
Tell you what, Chris, I'm really impressed with the intensity and the tempo of these points. Both players assaulting the ball at the earliest opportunity.
Use.
Well, you sense the decent recovery there from Raducanu. Just made Swiatek attempt to go the other way, hence the error.
It's good variety on the serve.
Advantage, Miss Swiatek.
It's a super mix-up of paces and direction.
Yeah, she's won 12 from 13 points from first serves landed, but only 3 from 10 on second.
Game, Miss Swiatek.
So that's a big game one, and still not a game one
Miss
for
Swiatek leads
Raducanu. It's 5-love
First set.
for Swiatek. So I'm sure the gentleman in your picture is pretty happy right now. He's very important in Polish tennis. The tennis federation there is Viktor Raducanu. And before Agnieszka and Ursula Radwanska won the junior girls singles here. Alexandra Olsa won it in 1995, so looking to become the 4th since 1968 in the Open era to lift the junior title here. And I haven't seen that many of the other junior girls playing, but this young woman here, 17-year-old, is going to take some beating.
She looks very tidy, doesn't she, with her performance so far? Ball boy looks a little tense there, doesn't he? His chest out. Do a great job, don't they, the balls kids? Terrific. Cream of the crop.
So 21 minutes, Emma Raducanu looking to save the bagel and get on the scoreboard at love 5 first set.
Ah! 15 love.
Well, it's just so stifling with this scoreboard pressure on Emma's young shoulders. And hopefully she can get stuck in and cross the line and get a game on the board here.
30-15.
And then you'd imagine she might breathe a big sigh of relief and be able to sort of get into the next gear of her game.
Or T15.
2 more chances to get on the scoreboard.
Or T30.
Head of tennis at the LTA, Simon Timpson is courtside as well now. Brought in as head of performance, Simon Timpson.
Use.
Emma Raducanu works out of the Bromley Tennis Centre. They must be very proud of her, and the coaches too. Much to discuss. Got a wild card into the main draw, into qualies of Wimbledon this year. Raducanu went out in the first round, but that was because she'd done so well. Juniors this year, won a grade 3 in India. 3 grade 2 junior ITF tournaments this year too. Raducanu.
You've got to love the reaction to this. Just spikes down an ace here. Desperate to get a game on the board, and a little roar of delight. That's good.
Use.
But it seems, early impressions are, Swiatek is enjoying oncoming pace.
Advantage is Raducanu.
3rd ace, 12th of the tournament.
Use.
Well, her head must be like a washing machine right now. She's not hitting the ball badly, but her Polish opponent seems to have most of the answers.
Advantage, Miss Raducanu.
Well, that's rare from what we've seen.
Yeah, but that's exactly the kind of tactical play I think Raducanu has to offer, because she's not going to overpower a girl who's 2 years older at this level. I think she's got to mix it up and try and get the ball out of this player's slot a little bit with some cheeky spins and speeds and heights.
Use.
Suddenly, when you hit a double fault, that shoulder aches just a little bit more. If it's an ace, no pain at all.
Two very long games in a row. And is this another going against the British girl?
Advantage, Miss Swiatek.
Set point.
Game.
It is.
First set,
It is 6-love
Miss Swiatek.
for Swiatek. She's halfway to the junior girls semi-final at Wimbledon. 27 impressive minutes.
And you could kind of understand that if Emma Raducanu had sort of underperformed, but Swiatek was just like a lightning bolt through that, pouncing on anything short and making it count. And now she's taken the comfort break as well.
And this must be a genuine one, because why would you take a comfort break when you just want to set 6-love and interrupt your own rhythm?
Yep.
And understandably, her opponent, maybe she sensed her opponent was going to do that anyway. Beat her to that as well.
But look at these numbers behind first serve. Points won 93%. Just lost the one solitary point of 14 she's landed. Swiatek, the Pole, firing them down. Decent percentage as well, up around 60%. And all 3 break points converted. So just incredible standout set from her. Winners to unforced errors. Well, she's +2. Her opponent -8. And 33 points to 19. So absolute shining numbers on the left side of that graphic from Swiatek, who can do nothing wrong seemingly at the moment. And I do think if Raducanu, as I said earlier, is going to get into this sort of dogfight of trying to out-hit her opponent, that's the wrong way to go. So it'll be interesting, Chris, because we see on the WTA Tour, several players don't have a sort of fallback strategy, and you wonder how well she's been prepared in that regard. That's the next sort of go-to, isn't it, in terms of questioning. But certainly up there, behind the umpire, there'll be some nervous people and coaches in the British camp, just willing her to get a game so that she can sort of at least relax a little and get going.
Plenty enjoying their day out here. Might not have the biggest show courts, but there is much on show elsewhere. Autographs. He's chewing that over, isn't he? Who's your best one?
My lad's just gone out and bought one of those balls as well.
He's got a few on there.
Yeah, there's certain must-haves, isn't there, for the youngsters?
During the Eastbourne week, there's a junior Maureen Connolly match against the United States that Great Britain play. And Joan O'Donoghue, as I've mentioned, has been working with Raducanu as one of the joint sort of captain there with Anne Kyothevong. They sat on the courts with the players through those matches against the Americans. It might be an idea in juniors as well. Let them have coaches on court whilst they're really developing, and once they become a pro, then stop all on-court coaching. So much debate about that in the senior events at Grand Slams, you cannot have a coach on court. You've got to do it yourself. So interesting. Because I think Raducanu now would love to have a chat with somebody about where to go from here.
Absolutely.
Only 15 years old.
Second set. Miss Swiatek to serve.
Swiatek to begin set 2. Impressively.
15 love.
I'll tell you what, you would be impressed if this were a main draw women's singles performance from Swiatek. It's outstanding.
Mainly played on the ITF Senior Tour this year, hardly any junior tournaments at all, as I mentioned. I think it's only the French Open, the only junior tournament. Semi-final of the French there, as I mentioned. Swiatek lost to Katie McNally of the United States, 6-4 in the third, and won the doubles title there with McNally.
Just looking at the pre-serve ritual, Chris, as well, with the deep breathing, she's got it all under control. She has a woman's game already. But of course, as any decent coach will tell you, they're trying to keep that sort of win-loss percentage to kind of around the 70% mark. You know, you've got to have those wins. So in terms of, you can't suddenly make that leap unless you can, you know, win at that level.
Game is Swiatek. New
Well,
box,
game.
please.
It continues.
Or change.
Yes, and we keep
First
talking
game,
about the age
second
difference
set.
and how young Raducanu is, but a couple of years ago, Swiatek, she won a $10,000 ITF tournament. She won a $15,000 tournament last year, $15,000 tournament this year. I mentioned her ranking is at 347, and the ITF Tour is the lowest rank of tournaments, if you like, as a pro once you leave the juniors. And they range from $10,000 right up to $100,000, $125,000, and then you move to the next level, which is international tournaments on the WTA, $250,000. Then you go to the Premiers, the Premier Mandatories, more points, more prize money, and then, of course, the 4 Grand Slams. And when I say $10,000 tournaments, that's total prize money.
15 love.
So you're not really making, even if you win the tournament, you're not putting a lot away in this very, very expensive business. There's been so much talk about that over the years, and prize money at the ITFs still hasn't really changed. That's wrong.
Well, I concur with exactly what you're saying, Chris, because to keep players in the game, you've got to offer them something at the lower levels, and from that, the cream then just sort of vault upwards, don't they? But of course, we lose so many players because of the expense.
$30-15.
Well, it'll become a painful watch for Nigel Sears and Kyothong Jane O'Donoghue right now. Difficult moments. They know their charge is handcuffed at the moment, just unable to keep a head above water.
then that
30 all.
second serve that didn't have an awful lot on it, just sat there ready to be hit, and it was. Yet another winner. 16th winner. Excuse me, an 11th winner. 7 unforced for the pole.
40-30.
Just 5 winners for Raducanu. Here's another chance to get on the scoreboard.
Use.
Unlucky. It's a brilliant recovery initially from Swiatek. Slipped.
Advantage, Miss Raducanu. Again, Miss Raducanu.
Yeah, big cheer, big smile on the scoreboard. The 15-year-old.
Second set.
She's dreaded, or maybe even thought about, the double bagel.
Yes, absolutely. Breathe a big sigh of relief. Generous applause and much, well deserved, and a nice smile breaks across her face. But now down to business again.
Raducanu changing the call on the right baseline. Ball was got out.
Well, I'm glad she challenged this because it did look mighty close.
No 15.
Yeah, she's right. Now here we go, the contentious issue.
Did not affect your shot at all.
Didn't affect your shot at all, is the umpire's opinion. Umpire Germani from Italy. So love 15.
Fifteen all. Late first service. Third T15. Four T15. Game. Miss Swiatek.
2 aces in the game. Set 2-1 the lead.
Miss Swiatek leads 2-1, second set, and by 1 set to love.
It's quite interesting over the years when a young British player has been fated as being, you know, very, very promising, exciting, such a young age. Laura Robson won the junior title here at such a young age a decade ago. What was she, 14? Carries a lot of pressure, that sort of label. And then the LTA of the 4 sort of Grand Slam nations, you know, because of the success of their home slams, they get a purse, if you like, and there's pressure on providing individuals from that sport, which I fundamentally think is wrong. I think any governing body of any sport should be responsible for that, but on young shoulders, not easy.
Absolutely, and it can be a little bit of a curse, can't it? Because sometimes when a player does well or is sort of, you know, heralded and really sort of bigged up, if you will, then they tend to, you know, get an inflated sense of self, and it can affect their work rate moving forwards. I mean, let's hope it doesn't happen to this player, but it can play with the mind a little.
Jeremy Bates has arrived. Head of women's tennis for the LTA.
What? 15 love. Eight per service.
Just got that little bit more zing, hasn't she, on pretty much everything that she does, to be fair. And a very mature mindset as well, having played at that higher level for that little bit more often.
Fed Cup experience this year too.
Yeah, makes her battle hardened, right?
Was it?
Swiatek is changing the call on the right far sideline. Ball was cut out.
Hawkeye will let her know. By the narrowest of margins.
30-15.
A couple of blades of grass.
Yeah, I'd say so. You don't get much closer than that. That's one of the problems, isn't it? A lot of the balls are going through the central, the belly of the court a little, and they've not quite got enough on them. And of course, Swiatek is getting on the front foot and just blistering them. Needs to almost get it wider out of the hitting zone or tuck her up into the body a little more.
Oh.
Raducanu's answer seemingly is just to go that little bit too big, and of course now she's becoming errant as a consequence.
A bit of a slip. Backing off to defend. It's still pretty lush back there.
Yep, just lost her footing there. Hopefully she's okay, no big deal. But it's unnerving, especially with this scoreline that she's up against.
And another break point. hanging in, literally.
Use.
Yeah, by a thread right now. This is a lovely change-up, but it was too lofted. And Raducanu did very, very well to control that. Just found the line.
Making sure she doesn't touch the net before the ball has bounced twice.
Advantage. Miss Swiatek.
Trying to get the first big strike in, knowing how much power is coming towards it. It's in action himself earlier today.
Yeah, did he have a win?
Seniors with Andrew Castle? No, I don't think so.
Oh!
She just needs to win a mini battle, the British player.
Use.
And that'll give Swiatek something to think about. It just won't be one-way traffic and all her way. This is a huge game. Yeah, not enough on the forehands, getting the full treatment.
Each of those forehands was annihilated by Swiatek.
Advantage,
That was the
Miss
return was lights out intensity, vicious intent. So confident, the Pole.
Game.
Third break point does it.
Miss Swiatek leads 3-1. Second set.
So far, so good for the young Polish player. Another mini battle under the belt. Again, looking to dominate. Always just seem to be set for her shots, whereas Raducanu chasing, unbalanced. And look at that scoreboard.
Heat love.
Well, deserved applause on that fine forehand return there. That was from the top draw.
18 on.
They've been few and far between. She's been contained and kept at arm's length throughout. That was standout, though. Can she do it again? You can see she's richly talented, but she's just been smothered so far this afternoon.
Third, T15.
Nice touch. We know about the power.
4-3-15.
Yeah, she's a real visionary, Swiatek, isn't she? That was incredible change-up. Very aware of the recovering British player there. That was very, very good play, tactically. Very alert.
Game, Miss Swiatek.
Just winning all these long games, the mini battles. There's been 3 really long, tough games.
Swiatek
Sort
leads
of releases
for
the
one
pole
second
in that
set.
game. The
Number
scoreboard
1 set all up.
improves. I suppose when you start by beating the world #1 junior in the first round, and you've had Fed Cup experience and you've had a lot of ITF tournaments this year, you can understand she's brimming with confidence.
She really is, and I think now we're getting a look at her front-running skills, as we have done throughout the match, really. She's been standout, exceptional, really kind of standalone in this quality. Really has been quite mesmerising from the off. I was just looking down the draw, Chris, and to change the topic, we've got a couple of Chinese players in there, Wang Qingyu and Wang Qiyu, as well as 4th and 10th seed respectively, and they're both in the quarterfinals as well. So China investing a lot in their Olympic sports, and certainly a lot of their investment is now starting to pay handsome dividends.
Time.
So surely a must-win service game here for Emma Raducanu. At a set and 1-4 down.
Love 15.
Spreading the court nicely there,
15
Raducanu.
all.
That was very positive.
More than double the unforced errors from the British player. Just trying to force the pace again.
Oh! 15-40.
More problems here.
No. 30-40.
Well, that was a confident miss from the pole. Stepping in with a frog leg kick on the high backhand return.
Game, Miss Swiatek.
Set 5-1 now. Semi-final of the junior girls here. There's a half smile on the lips. It beckons
Swiatek
for
leads 5
Swiatek.
against 1. Second set.
Semi-final of the French this year. The Polish player lost to Katie McNally, as I mentioned, in quarter-finals the 2 years before that.
Love.
And in under an hour so far. Still trying everything.
It was a beautiful change-up from Raducanu there. Lovely extremities of pace. Hammered the shot prior to that and then took all the pace out. Kissed the line. Blistering again from Swiatek.
Third, T15.
He
can barely believe that one, Victor.
It's been a magnificent display of controlled power hitting.
Yeah.
19 winners to 11 unforced. She's at 74 winners now in the junior tournament so far.
Something else.
Add another.
Fourth, T15.
Oh.
Or T30.
Just a little greedy there. Everybody wants to go out in flames of glory.
Use.
It's about the only time she's lost her concentration, really. Trying to get over the finishing line. Got another chance. Third match point.
Swiatek. Use. Correction was good.
Yeah, there's the
Is Raducanu is changing the
puff
call
of
on the
white
left service
smoke.
line. Ball was called in.
Is the umpire right? Was it on the line? No.
Second serve.
Well, she's going to complain. There was a bit of a cloud. Short complaint. Second serve it is. That's well recovered.
Advantage, Miss Swiatek.
Such purpose in the walk, too.
Steamrolling.
Fourth match point.
Game 7 match.
17-year-old Iga Swiatek from Poland makes the second junior Grand Slam semi-final in a row. Did it at the French at Roland Garros, has done it here for the first time at Wimbledon. Took just 61 minutes. It was a magnificent display of power, control, hitting. No wonder the smile.